Welcome to Coast View, the show that every single day celebrates the incredible men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such a great place to live, work, and play. Hey, in just a second, we're going to celebrate for a bit some really great news coming out of Ocean Springs that in a 2023, this was very recent, by the way, USA Today 10 Best Reader's Choice Travel Awards. Ocean Springs was named the best small town for shopping in America. And we're going to come back to that here in just a second. I want to share something that my friend Susan Myers-Griggs posted. And I think it's a really good one for parents. I think it's something that parents struggle with. It's certainly something that grandparents struggle with as well. But it came from the Andy Griffith Show. And here's what it is. When Barney told Andy he should just let Opie decide for himself how he wanted to live, Andy had these words to wisdom. No, I'm afraid it don't work that way. You can't let a young'un decide for himself. He'll grab at the first flashy thing with shiny ribbons on it. Then, when he finds out there's a hook in it, it's too late. Wrong ideas come packaged with so much glitter that it's hard to convince them that other things might be better in the long run. All a parent can do is say, wait, and trust me, and try to keep the temptation away. Somehow, we have lost this basic truth. Too many people are more worried about being their child's friend than being their parent. Does that sound familiar to you? I think there are a lot of parents that may fall in that category. Hey, incidentally, you've heard me talk more recently I'm about to cite from a story that appeared on about SuperTalk Mississippi Media News. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, I really encourage you to go to supertalk.fm. It's so easy to do it, supertalk.fm. And what you'll see at the very top, there's a little click there that says subscribe. It says stay informed, signed up for our free weekly newsletter. What you get there is news coming out of the Capitol. You get important news across the state. You get professional football and baseball sports. Certainly, you get incredible news coming out of State and Ole Miss and Southern Miss and other colleges across the state. We've got a great sports team at SuperTalk. And man, they feed so much awesome information into this newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, I would really encourage you to do it. And by the way, there are a growing number of thought leaders that are engaged in this newsletter. You'll enjoy what they have to say as well. So go there and subscribe, and you'll be glad you did, because you'll get these regular updates in your email inbox. Well, as I said, SuperTalk Mississippi News had a story about Ocean Springs being selected the best small town for shopping in America. It went on for 4 weeks, and the Ocean Springs Chamber of Commerce and Main Street Tourism Bureau campaigned in the community to vote for the contest. And it went on to say that Ocean Springs is up against national competition, including New York, New Jersey, California, Ohio, North Carolina, Arkansas, Maine, Alabama, Minnesota, Michigan, and many other categories. But by popular vote, we got it, and it's a really, really exciting news for Ocean Springs. With that said, let me invite my friend Cynthia Dobbs into the conversation and just say, first of all, good morning to you.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
It's good to see you. You're the executive director of the Ocean Springs Chamber. And, of course, we also have the Main Street Tourism Project as part of that. So you're in a good position, man. You know, we talk all the time about people who come through the city who are surprised by it, this incredible renaissance that's happening in the city. But you're not surprised. I mean, I know you're thrilled because the competition was stiff, but best small town for shopping in America. That is so cool.
It is. I mean, we are surprised. We seem to think that we have the largest, we call it shopping district around, the outdoor shopping district with, almost 140 places to shop, dine, visit with. So we were really excited to get it. We won Best Small Town for 2022 by USA Today. So that kind of pushed us into gear to campaign and promote to get best small town for shopping in the U.S. I mean, come on, we wanted that.
I don't blame you. I mean, just in the last few days, man, I've had Julian Rankin on who, as you know, he describes the connection between the art and community and the value of a community and this the landscapes of a community, how all those things play together. Ocean Springs is a great leader in that way. I had Kenny Holloway on, and we talked about all the work that they're doing to build infrastructure and to manage this great renaissance is happening, and to work really hard to find the balance between sort of being this residential bedroom community and this thriving sort of tourism destination. And there are a lot of challenges engaged in that so far. I think the city's done a really good job at it, but they're really focused on making sure they find that balance between the two. But it's exciting to see all that, isn't it?
It is. We've always been known as a bedroom community, a sleepy small town. So we're excited to get this national attention. When you just have a community like that, that really does, is what you just said, focus on the art, the community, all that. It's, just going to get that national attention over time. And as I've said before, our businesses know that more than 50% of their business is tourist traffic. So, and awards like this, what that does is just put us on the map. It just makes more people want to come stay in Ocean Springs.
I know it does. Hey, listen, one of the other things that Julian and I talked about, the mayor and I talked about, you and I have talked about it many times, but the new documentary on Walter Anderson that's airing across the country. Julian talked about how they're getting orders, through the website for Anderson books and stuff, prints, etc., are literally coming from all over the country now. Do you see the same kind of buzz, coming through your efforts?
Yeah, we do. That's what I'm saying. It's just it's interesting. It's a combined effort. It's all the businesses, all the community, all the arts. Ocean Springs just has its own, as we all do. Every community has its own unique aspects. And we just have a wonderful group of people that know how to talk to other folks, make that information kind of known, like what you were saying about with Walter Anderson. And then right next door to us, we have Realizations, the Realization Shop, which is a Walter Anderson family shop. And just to hear how many orders they have just because of the HGTV show, it's amazing. It just keeps growing. And, it's a good tribute to the Anderson family, the art, the culture, the design that they created many, many years ago. And just to see how, I'm going to say famous it is today is a blessing, and it helps the community as a whole.
I talk about it this way, and I think to me this is a really good comparison. You think about George Orr and how many pots he made. He made 10,000 pots, and then there's this big gigantic fire, and so many of his pots are completely destroyed. And then he makes 10,000 more pots. This guy, it's a great. George Orr's the Mad Potter of Biloxi story is so cool. But it wasn't until sort of the New York art scene took notice, and someone did a book around it, and suddenly this pot that he couldn't sell for 10 cents at one point, or maybe he sold for 10 cents, is now worth 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000. It's incredible what happened long after his death, I might add. I think the same effect's going to happen with Walter Anderson because he was a Renaissance man. The more that people know his story, they think of him as this guy who rowed his boat to Horn Island and, stayed on the island and drew so many of these scenes that we're so familiar with here in coastal Mississippi. But he was so much more than that. He traveled the world. Literally, he was a Renaissance man. People like stories, but then again, if you didn't even know his story and you just wanted to appreciate his art, his style was so darn unique. And I've got a couple of pieces in my house right now. His style was so unique that people sort of want to be part of that. And again, when you've got someone like that at the center of your community, it's a big deal.
Exactly. I like to say that art shines with age. It really does. Over time, it gets better. And what Walter Anderson and the Anderson family does is they literally, in their art, they take the aspects of the nature of the community of Ocean Springs. And I think that's what makes it extra special and adds to that overall package of notoriety of people now, like on the HGTV show, USA Today. It just really adds to it all. And it's really cool because it's really just who we are.
It is. So look, someone finds out about this award, USA Today giving Ocean Springs the award of being a wonderful place to shop. So someone calls you and says, "Why is it so good? Tell me the story of your shopping experience." How do you talk about it?
Yeah, well, people will call all the time. We also have a visitor center here in Ocean Springs, the Ocean Springs Visitor Center, and we see up to 400 visitors a month that come through from all over. We're still in snowbird season, so a lot of those snowbirds know of the coastal Mississippi area, but they don't necessarily know of the different aspects of the community of the town.
Hey, Cynthia, let's do this. I want you to answer that question in full. We're at the end of this segment. So when we come back on the other side with Cynthia Dobbs from the Ocean Springs Chamber, we'll talk about this unique shopping experience. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to Coast View from the SuperTalk Mississippi Media News effort. Ocean Springs has been named the best small town for shopping by popular vote in the 2023 USA Today 10 Best Reader's Choice Travel Awards contest. That is amazing. And by the way, Rhinebeck, New York placed second. So anyway, when we went to break, you were about to talk about if someone were to ask or someone were to, call you or walk through the visitor center and say, "Why is it such a unique place to shop?" What do you say?
Well, I could say a lot of things. One of the things we do is we actually show them our town visitor guide. And when you open it up, we have two pages that tell you the top 10 things to do. So I kind of go from there and kind of show them all the things to do, because there's so much you can do in Ocean Springs, and why the people come to Ocean Springs, why shop, why we're the best shopping. We have more than 100 locally owned businesses, shops, if you will, downtown throughout town. And Ocean Springs has a unique shopping district, a unique walkable downtown. So we've been very fortunate to our developers, our folks, community folks that live here, that literally has put all that together and situated downtown to be what it is, from what Loveless was to the Hillier House, to the unique shops, to Realizations, to the Pink Rooster. All those shops, all those things are very unique. We say no other community has it. And the cool thing is that a lot of those places literally pull from artists and, jewelry makers, painters, clothing, fabric folks that are local or that are from here. So Ocean Springs has unique shopping that you can't find anywhere else, really. And then, of course, coupled with the bars and restaurants in downtown, every bar or restaurant has outdoor seating. They have activities like karaoke, trivia night. The list can go on and on of what there is to do and see. You're a mile from the beach. You can walk to the beach. You can rent slow ride and have a pedal tour. We now have a new historic golf cart tour in downtown. It's amazing if you haven't done it yet. So there's so many things to do, and shopping is just the tip of it.
And the evolution of these wonderful small hotels downtown. I just love that. And more coming. It's just really cool the way that's coming together. Interesting. You mentioned Hillier House. I had Paige Riley on a month or so ago, and then more recently I had Suzanne on, and Suzanne Snyder. And you look at the people who were engaged in those two shows, and Cynthia, I'm literally saying thousands of people have viewed those shows. Thousands of people. Wow. I think in the case of Paige's, this evolution from Past Christian and being destroyed and Katrina and then coming to Ocean Springs, that story and the story of Hillier House tends to sort of map with the story of coastal Mississippi through the oil industry boom and all these different twists and turns along the way. Even going back to when I-10 first opened and how it affected Highway 90 and all of that. And, of course, Katrina, which brought him to Ocean Springs. And then here you have Susanna, who is a young leader who's deeply engaged in her business, but also giving back to the community to help feed people.
Yep.
People are inspired by that. But, that's just one of so many stories like that coming out of that community. One of the things I mentioned to Susanna when we talked was that when we used to do readership studies at the Sun Herald, the number of people who read the newspaper in Ocean Springs, and like if you were to look at the penetration into the homes, the readership of the Sun Herald, people who were informed, the penetration was highest in Ocean Springs than anywhere else. I mean, it's got a history of being engaged. And that's exciting to be in a community like that, isn't it?
It is. And, it's kind of cool that you said that, because I sometimes tell stories about how all of that what you just said literally stemmed from the Anderson family and their cottage, and how they started almost 100 years ago with just that, creating an arts colony, creating folks, getting folks to create projects throughout town with their art. And I think it's just grown from then. And I think it's just, maybe it's just in the air or in the trees. It's just who we are, the way that we are, that literally that kind of stuff just keeps happening. And I mean, it's kind of an odd way to describe how we have our entrepreneurial spirit in Ocean Springs, but I really do think that it has started from there, and it's just there. It just breathes into everybody who's lived here and grown up here.
Well, when my wife Ann and I come to the city for lunch or dinner or whatever, we always spend some time walking around. I love the way that when you walk through downtown Ocean Springs, there's sort of this mix between, you might pass a restaurant, but then you might pass a small shop. But it's just the diversity of choices and opportunity to do things when you're there in the city. To me, it really defines what a walkable community should be all about. That's exciting. The other thing is the amount of money that's being spent in that city currently as people buy residences and then upgrade them. And I mean, again, I define it as a renaissance, but it's exciting to watch all that come together, isn't it?
It is, and it's continuing to grow. We've had some new developments in downtown, meaning just housing in downtown, the neighborhoods on the east side of town that keep growing. It's amazing to see. We're a small town. We can't really go too far out or even too high up, but it's just neat to see the continued growth, the continued things happening in town. It's really, really cool. Like I said, from the apartment complexes, the housing subdivisions, and then, of course, like you said earlier, some of the new boutique hotels that just keep growing. We always find a way to put a little something else in there.
Well, listen, in that same USA Today survey, Ocean Springs was also in the top 5 for best small town culture scene, or cultural scene. Again, I'm not surprised to see that at all. I mean, you just think about. I think that the cultural scene is diverse and wonderful. Mm-hmm. But at the center of that is the Walter Anderson story and the Anderson family story. And, I love this whole notion of connecting back to the history of the town. Yep. You see that constantly coming back time and time again, don't you?
You do. And I kind of think there's a cool new movement in Ocean Springs, and I'll say Ocean Springs Main Street, that there's a cool new movement of just focusing on the history, the preservation. We have a new historical society in town. If you haven't followed their Facebook page, those ladies, that team, tell wonderful stories of just the history of Ocean Springs. We here at the depot are redoing the outside of our depot, and just the history and all that just comes from it is really, really cool just to see that. I mean, I'm going to call that growth as well. See that growth of preservation throughout our town.
Yeah, Ray Beland, he's really gone on a mission to tell the story. I mean, he does a good job with that, doesn't he?
Yes, he has. And, he just recently, through the city, got named the historian for Ocean Springs. So we're excited. We've always known he's always been the center of knowledge. He has a site, oceanspringsarchives.net, and that's a site that you can go to find any history about Ocean Springs. But he's getting out there and helping to tell that story more and more, and we're really excited to see that more. Again, like I said, it's neat to see how things just kind of evolve back around, and there's just a movement that people are just paying attention to the history again, and I think that's very important to our community.
I can't talk enough about it. Not only is it fun to talk about, it's just great to be, connect back, but Ray has such a wonderful way of telling the stories, and now he's diving into Biloxi in a big way. So, it's again, we have such a rich history here on the coast. So many incredible transformational leaders along the way. So many characters like Walter Anderson, for example. But there are so many others. And we're lucky to have people like Ray who's willing to do the homework. I mean, I'm talking about serious homework to be able to tell that story. So how are things going with the chamber these days?
Yeah. Going great. the Chamber Main Street, it is that time of year. We're starting our spring season. We have so many events and activities coming up. We have a wonderful new partner in town. They've always been there, but they're actually just taking a larger role. Budweiser has come a part of things. We're going to do a St. Patty's Day pub crawl with Budweiser. Then they have become our presenting sponsor for the Spring Arts Festival on March 25th and 26th. That has become a mini Peter Anderson with 200 vendors, folks from at least 12 states. And then, of course, they're bringing us the Clydesdales in April. So lots of things going on and everything in between.
Hey, well, don't you love the way that these festivals? First of all, the way that festivals are able to be laid out inside the city to really complement the walkability of it, but the evolution of the festivals and how it keeps bringing, I don't know, over time, hundreds of thousands of people to the city. That's exciting, isn't it?
It is. I always like to say in Ocean Springs, we don't have some of the attractors that others community have, like the casinos or the department stores. So in Ocean Springs, how we generate that activity, besides the unique aspects of what nature has brought us at the T of downtown, is by creating these festivals and events. And with more than 13 a year, we keep adding a few more. But that's what actually creates activity, we feel, and generates commerce to our businesses to help them sustain, because we've got to support our small businesses.
Well, listen, congratulations to the city of Ocean Springs on being named the best small town to shop in America by USA Today. And congratulations on you and your team's effort at the Chamber. And I look forward to visiting with you again in the near future.
Awesome. Glad to be here.
You bet. Hey, listen, when we come back, we're going to have a conversation with my dear friend Martha Allen from Extra Table. We'll see you after this.